Well, welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to the Women's Empower Network. I am so excited to have Rose with us today, and welcome, Rose.
Hi, how you doing
Hey,
today? We had a lot of
great.
fun before this,
I
so let's see
know.
what we do now.
And now I'm really curious because, as we just previously talked about, is to tell us a little bit about you and your story and journey that led you to what you're passionate about today.
Well, I did mention earlier I'm passionate about a lot of different things, so we'll see how this goes. But ever since I was a child, I've known it was my last lifetime and that I came here to assist, but I wasn't necessarily sure exactly what that meant. And I was saying to Ginny, basically for me, I helped little old ladies cross the street. I figured that was helping people. And then eventually, like my parents did separate when I was young, and I was raised in a Roman Catholic religion. But at the same time, because, at the time period that happened, my mom was highly judged for separating in that religion and things like that. But my parents also believed in metaphysical stuff. So I was blessed to have that influence, even though I was raised with the Roman Catholic religion. And truthfully, even if I had my own child, I probably would, even in this reality, with all the awareness I have, start them with some type of foundation like that. Because I do believe in my heart, any type of a religious place, everyone's trying to be good, at least. You know what I mean? They're trying to do something good. There's some form of element of the God word in there, that essence, because I do believe that a big part of my life has been getting to know what God is, and that has grown and changed as I have, thank goodness, because the God that I was raised with religion might not necessarily be the God that I've come to know now, because it's just never being loving force that I've come to know. And so in time, and that's what the whole journey has eventually would turn into intuition, psychic abilities, um, your sixth senses, which unfortunately with religion kind of don't go well together either, because I would probably be blasphemous. It's like, how dare you do that? Like you're creating sin here, So like, I mean, so there's that, the part that's so challenging, especially as I've gotten closer to what my perception of that higher power is that is those senses are help you to connect with that God. So it's almost like contradictory. We want to have that beautiful experience with community and religion, but at the same time, it's kind of prevents you from giving yourself the opportunity to have those things. So that's why I've had so many people. So eventually I would put myself out there as a psychic. It took me a long time as one of the key words, only because of the fact that people would have to believe that. And so this is where I guess a big piece of my passion is to take the fear away from that. I'd have to say this is a really big part of my passion, because I believe that your intuitive voice is your connection with God, and it comes in very different ways, and the God force in your higher self, or hold the Holy Spirit, however you want to call it, that higher part of you. Um, it wants you to grow, and it wants you to grow in a beautiful, elegant way. So it's just undoing a lot of those programs too. This work is about busting limiting thoughts. And when you start doing it, you don't realize how many you have, and that's the part that can be nice, to have someone outside of you that has done the work or is a few steps ahead, that can kind of catch you when you can maybe just shift that one belief, and you don't realize how much is tied to so many other ones, right? So it's
Right.
been journey. It's been a whole journey for me of learning to trust it, um, being ostracized because of it, learning how to handle that, and coming out the other end now going, I'm pretty proud of the fact that I learned all this stuff. I think I've done some really good work. I don't know if anyone else knows it, but I've done some good stuff. I've helped the animals in my community. So years ago. So one of the things I came to learn on my journey is that if a problem came up, part of what we came here to do is as we understand metaphysical principles, is to create solutions. So I started to see the strays in my area, and knew that fixing cats was expensive, and I'd heard of it happening in other areas. So I started putting prayers out there to find a simple way for that to happen. I didn't necessarily realize I was going to be a part in the manifestation of that. So I was actually one of the second or third one in Hamilton to be a colony caregiver and be a part with these trap, neuter, release programs. But I part of the reason why the animal stuff it became such a interesting journey for me. I'd always loved them since I was a child. I think when I was a kid, I wanted to be a vet until I found I'd have to put them down. I just think that there was something inside of me that didn't wasn't excited about that part of the journey. And then I was going to say about putting it out there and creating animals. Oh, um, there was a certain point in my journey where I read a teaching called The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. I don't know if you ever came across that in your journey. I didn't read all of the books. They're actually back here, to be honest. But these guys went on, it's like like to 20 like 2019, like we're talking a long time ago. They went on an expedition to the Himalayas, and they're actually like ascended beings that are 400 and 500 years old, and they look like they're 40 or 50. I'm like, I gotta talk to those people. No, you know what
Right, yeah.
I mean? But
What's your
anyway,
secret?
exactly. It's like we gotta anyway, no. So, but anyway, I guess Jesus manifested into form, and taught them different things. And some of them, the ones that were in charge of the community that were full of much more light, part of what their role was wild animals would come up and put their head in their hands because they didn't feel threatened by them. So the ability to hold that much light helped their relationship with them to be profound, right? So, and not harmful. So basically, I guess there was that piece of me because there was a certain part of my journey where I went on a date in 2010. This is funny. So I say to this guy, I'm like, I want to hold so much light that I just look at people and I heal them. And the guy practically collapsed. Right? I was like, wow, I scared that guy. Like I'm excited about it. The guy practically passed out. I'm like, maybe I should tell people that. So anyway, that's my relationship with the animals. I kind of started to see it that on some level I wanted to see if my light could help to develop relationship with them so they weren't so afraid of us. So truthfully, I've never trapped any of my cats, even though they're feral. I developed a relationship of some sort and would have to put them in the cage if I had to get them fixed, but they never actually got trapped. I know.
Nice.
You see what I'm trying to say? I didn't probably shouldn't tell that publicly, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like,
You're in a safe space.
oh, thank you, sweetie. Yeah. So my whole animal work, even though it ended up becoming all my responsibility, that's the part they forgot to tell me. You know, we're gonna help you, but it's all your responsibility. We're gonna take all the credit, but it's all your
Hilarious. Well, do you work with individuals, because you have this rich, I mean, you've been through an experience that I've met a lot of people who struggle with that very thing that you started out talking about what you're taught at a very young age and traditionally, and giving your power away to somebody else, and then yet experiencing and knowing that you had that inner connection and that inner knowing, um, and resolving that
Well, so
conflict.
that's the piece where the animal work is a passion, but that's a piece of what I do now. So, and I've been doing it for a long time, but that's the whole thing. I didn't want to go big with that. So I just do a little bit privately. I like, you see what I'm trying. I didn't know if I wanted to go into big rescue because I know that I came here to help humans too, right? So,
Right.
and this is the part where when I put myself out there, initially when I created my website years ago, my guides had suggested that I put all the different modalities that I did, which so I do have an old website saying that. But what it has become is I become all in my modalities, but it's still yet one of the key words that seems to lead people to me the most is the word psychic, which comes with a bit of stigma and expectation. But I do consider myself more of a spiritual guide because I could feel sometimes when people call me, they've had this profound experience, but it's so in conflict with their religious beliefs. I've just had
Yeah.
times where I just intuitively know, and I'm like going, but you don't realize this is your connection with God. Like you've just had a profound experience, but I can feel that your religious beliefs are interfering with that to allow you to see the beauty of is possible for you. So I really do think it is a big piece of, what I try to do. In my own way to convey to anyone when I'm sharing any of this information and really encouraging them to have those experiences themselves. Because you and I both know I could tell you beautiful things that happened to me, which all sound wonderful, but they're nothing till it happens to you. So a big
Right.
piece of my work with my clients, when I do work with my clients, so my work, I did a show recently. I've had a show. There's been a bit of a break, but I'm probably going to stay creating it on my own because they went out of business, the people that held the show. But I'm just taking it back on my own. I called myself a soul mechanic because I don't necessarily because I find a half-hour session sometimes isn't enough time for me to really help a person for what they've got going on. So I say to them, listen, I'm not just a reader and I'm not just a healer. I'm both. And I feel like in my heart, when I grew exponentially, really, when I grew faster, it was when I seemed to bring the energy work in, because you and I both know this work is a lot to do with changing our thoughts. But you and I both also know that we aren't just our thoughts. We are energetic beings. We have auric fields. We have layers within our aura, our emotional body, our mental body. We're electromagnetic beings. And I think you and I talked a little bit, but it sounds like you do understand Abraham Hicks' teachings with the contrast. A lot of that lately.
Yeah.
Don't you notice as a manifester, you put a desire there, you're like, that's not what I put out there.
No, I'm just kidding. I didn't mean that.
It was like, wait a second, what can I say different to get the different result? Because that one sucked. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I
God,
remember.
every day. As long as it's no death involved, we're good. You see what I'm trying to say? You know what I
That's hilarious.
mean?
So,
Right.
so if somebody resonates with your message and is struggling to really find the balance between the two and feel whole, how can people connect with you? How can they get in touch with you?
So I do have two websites right now, and I'm probably still gonna do that for a little while longer. www.theperfectrose.ca. So theperfectrose.ca, and the other one is roseannkulyk.com, roseannkulyk.com. And if they want to ask me questions, I would say email me at rose@theperfectrose.ca. But I do pray for my clients to feel guided to work with me. I really want them to feel sent. I do work very closely with archangels and ascended masters, and I put a desire out there for them to feel drawn to me in some way, shape, or form. I feel like that I really want them to feel like there's something. They'll just keep thinking, that Rose lady, I don't know, I keep thinking about her. I just please have enough courage to call or something because I know some that takes them a little while to do that. Um, but I guess all I'm trying to say is then I will, my work is intended to be like a whole experience. So that's how I prefer to do my work. I have done lots of spontaneous work over the years. If someone's distressed in processing, I'm really good at taking them out of that. But it is nicer for them to get the most out of the experience like I even open their mind to 2 to 3 hours. That's what I meant about the soul mechanic. Like you would never bring your car in for a repair. That's a 3 hour repair and ask the mechanic to repair it in a half an hour. So I try to tell
Right.
my clients, please don't ask me for a half-hour session when you've got like a 5 hour job. So you see what I'm
Right.
trying to say. But I'm
Yeah.
not trying to ask them to be with me forever. It's just that I want to try to help them as much as I possibly can in the sessions. And I have the angels working on them in the session with me. we are working together as a team, and then I have them continue to support my client after. So it's like but I really want to take them like to that higher frequency where their good is. So I really enjoy my sessions when I'm that too with them, because I get to go there with them, because I actually become one with my clients. So it really helps me and them for me to fully complete, because then I get to, and then they fly out, that's my
I know.
intention anyway.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, I want to remind the audience that we'll put Rose's contact information down in the comments, so that you can reach out and get in touch with her. And I love that, I just love your spirit and your laugh and your enthusiasm for
Thank
life.
you.
What would
Thank
be
you.
some parting words of wisdom before we go today?
Well, I really feel like, out of love for everyone right now, a lot of our stuff is coming up to the surface. And I want you to know the real old stuff could be coming up right now. And please, out of love for yourself, find a healthy outlet to let yourself get it out, in a healthy manner, because this is not something, we can't keep stuffing this stuff down. That's why all these shootings are happening in the world and all that stuff. These people are acting out because they've never been given permission to find a healthy outlet to do something with those feelings. Our society likes to medicate and not allow people to. I'm not, and that's what I love about my work too, is I have created in such a way where you're releasing and transmuting some heavy duty stuff, but I've tried to make it as beautiful, powerful, and positive as possibly can to process, which can be a little bit challenging. You and I both know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And not having to do it alone and having somebody who understands and can walk through it with you
It
is
is
such a
helpful.
powerful gift for both people.
Yeah, for sure. And I just love watching I'll be honest with you, I love my clients. Like, I mean, I love watching them grow. I mean, I'm sitting in their lives, right? So I take my work very seriously. This is people's lives. They're coming to marriages, children, wanting to have children. I mean, we're talking some heavy duty things here. And I've helped save a lot of relationships too. So, anyways, thank
That's
you.
beautiful.
Thank
Well,
you for
thank
your
you
time.
so much for being with us, Rose.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad I came.